Hi everybody, it's Denise from Wonderland Boutique and welcome to my channel. I am coming at you today with a video I wasn't sure if I was going to make, but I decided I might as well just do it. I want to talk about mental health, especially my mental health, and let's talk about depression and anxiety. I figured you could do the introduction right there and play the video. So, we're all in a global pandemic. So, things have really changed over the last year on people's mental state, depression, anxiety, everything you can think of. However, I have struggled with depression and anxiety long before the pandemic. Not to say the pandemic hasn't made it worse, but it's something that I, for the longest time, didn't want to talk about because I was embarrassed about, because I thought people were going to judge me or see me differently to know that I had something wrong with me and I was diagnosed with it. You know how some people are like, oh, my anxiety this, anxiety that, but they've never been clinically diagnosed. They've never been on meds. They just say they have it because it's a self-assessment. I was diagnosed with anxiety, I don't even know how many years ago. Depression is a couple years ago. I think maybe about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I was officially diagnosed with depression, but I've always dealt with it. Anxiety was longer than that, and then I was also diagnosed OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder, and that was probably 11, 12 years ago now. But here's the thing, I've always watched YouTube, and I'm sure you've watched YouTube, and I see these YouTubers who have these like breakdowns, and they have like these times where they have to take time off of YouTube and they're like, I can't do this anymore, I need a break. And I would be like, really, how hard is it to film a YouTube video? You sit in front of a camera and you edit it. Like, come on, get it together, YouTubers. This is your job full time. Now, mind you, YouTube is not my job full time. I wish it would be. And if you can, hit that subscribe button and help me make it a YouTube full-time job so I can get monetized. That would be great. But I don't even do this full-time, and just producing a video a week is a lot of work. And I'm not even doing the editing. Dan, my husband, is doing the editing for me because I said if we were going to do this, you need to learn how to edit because I'm not doing it. And that's exactly what our setup is. So I'm the content creator, I'm the creative mind behind it, but it is exhausting getting in front of the camera and doing a tutorial or talking about something or doing a vlog or showcasing your life, because the first thing for me is not to reach for a camera and to document it. That's not the first thing I think of. And it is exhausting because I work full time. You know, I have a life, I have a job, I have a family, everything like that. And when you're depressed or your anxiety is through the roof, the last thing you want to do is like be creative or step outside of your comfort zone. And I'm here to tell you, it is hard to make YouTube videos. And it's hard to function when you're going through depression or flare-ups of anxiety or even just everyday anxiety. I don't know how many people will relate to this video. I hope there are tons of people out there who can relate and who won't judge and who will leave a comment with an open and honest feedback or talk about their experience or message me on social media and be like, hey, you're not alone. I suffer from depression. I suffer from anxiety. Or if you suffer from something else, it doesn't have to even be depression or anxiety. Mental health is everyone's own private journey, and how you handle it is up to you. What methods you use to cope is up to you. If you do talk therapy, if you do medicines, if you paint, if you collect 25 cats, I don't know. But for me, there's times where I just don't want to make a video because we've gotten to this routine where I post usually about once a week. But then when there's been breaks, most of the time it's been because like a holiday or something like that, but there's been times where I've been super sick, and it's because I have autoimmune disorders as well. And I've had flare-ups and I've had issues and I've been super sick, and then that gets you down, and then I've gone through depression, and then I don't want to film anything, and I don't even make hair bows or clothing, and I just put all that on the back burner. And crafting is normally my outlet for stress and depression, but when I've had a really bad, deep depression, I don't touch anything, and I have no motivation to do anything. I mean, hell, Chomper and I watched RuPaul's Drag Race for 6 weeks straight, I think it was, on the couch. I have seen every season, including Untucked, okay? Because that's all I wanted to do after work, was just watch RuPaul's Drag Race and lay on the couch. And that's what I did. Now, in speaking in relevance to the last year, a lot has happened. I've lost my grandmother, who was basically like my mother to me. And that was horrible to go through because she had cancer, and watching her just get worse and worse was heartbreaking, and I was one of her caregivers. I lost a very good friend and colleague. I've also lost a couple other family friends during this time, and it's just all spiraled. I lost Pumpkin going on 3 years ago, and I've never recouped from that. You know, being very open with everybody. I lost my dad in 2008. I lost my grandpa before that. I've lost my aunt and uncle in the last 5 years. Everybody has death, but I don't know. I just feel like I've had a lot of death at a young age, and maybe that's just my perspective because I'm the one who's gone through it. But having mental health issues, along with like autoimmune disorders and health issues and everything else, just it all compounds on you. And the best way I can describe it is that I have no motivation or desire to do anything. Like, all I want to do is sleep. I'm so tired. I just want to sleep. I just want to lay on the couch. You know, I didn't want to exercise. I didn't want to craft. You know, the pandemic wasn't affecting me because I wasn't going anywhere, that's for sure. But it literally felt like I just had the weight on my shoulders. And then another thing that happens with me and my anxiety is I don't even know I'm doing it, but I sit and grind my teeth to the point where I've already chipped a tooth. I've got teeth ground down, and I will do it during the day. Don't even know I'm doing it. I could be on a conference call and I'm just like just grinding my teeth. So stress does not help, and there's plenty of stress in my life, and I know we all have different stressors. We have family, we've got bills, we've got houses, keeping things clean, paying the bills, mortgage, you know, everything you could think of, your cats, your dogs, your birds, like your spouses, significant others. There's so many different things that can stress you out. School, like school can stress you out. Having your own business, creating a YouTube video, all that stuff stresses you out. And, you know, I feel like when I look back at some of my YouTube videos, even though, like I said, I'm just a small time person, I don't have that many subs, but looking back through my YouTube videos, I personally can see when I've been down, because those videos are not that, like, you can see my enthusiasm is not there, and you can see that the video, it's not that it's forced, it's just not exciting, and I'm lacking in my enthusiasm. And you know what? Those are some of my lower viewed videos, and maybe it's because it translates. But then also I have some videos where I'm not even on camera doing a tutorial, and I've got plenty of views on that, so I have no idea. But me just looking through my body of work, I can see it. And, you know, I don't do talk therapy. I have tried it before, yes, and I did not like it. That is my own personal preference. I am not somebody who likes to share their emotions, which is why this video is so weird for me, because I am being very open and very vulnerable with strangers and talking about my feelings and talking about things. But maybe I need to do this video and just let it all out, like, because I can only tell Dan so much before I think he thinks I'm crazy. So I gotta have somebody else to tell it to. And I've got my best friends, but I also don't want to burden them with being like, oh, today's another day that I'm depressed. You know, like they have their own lives. Some of them have depression. Some of them have anxiety. Like, I don't want to be that friend to put undue burden on somebody else, you know, and I'm sure people can relate to this. And then, you know, your whole life has changed this last year. For the last year, everybody's life has been changed. Everybody. We've all been going through it together, but some of us suffer silently and some of us deal with things differently, or some of us this affects more because it does affect our mental state and things like that. And I mean, I think we've come to a point nowadays where there's a much bigger conversation around mental health and mental stability. And I strongly believe that it was stigmatized. Again, this is my opinion. Even when I was younger as a kid, like I remember kids who were mentally unstable and it was more a stigma and it wasn't talked about, you know, back then. And think about all the like insane asylums, or they'd ship people off, you know, to get treatment for basic things that we have these days, and they were shunned by their families. Mental health has been stigmatized for I don't know how long. And being able to even talk about it and even say like, yes, I have depression. Yes, I have anxiety. Like, that's a huge step for me. I only tell like the close people in my life because yeah, I'm afraid of being judged and not knowing what people are going to say or how they're going to think about me, because on the outside, everybody thinks I'm this strong go-getter. You know, I am an independent woman. I'm a self-starter. But there's days where inside I'm literally screaming at my own self and not able to function. And that's part of my mental health and what's going on. And yes, I do take medicine. I have no problem saying it. I do take medicine. I think I am now at a point where I'm on a good regimen because I have autoimmune disorders and I have chronic diseases that I have to be careful what I take and some things interact. But I think now I'm on a good dose of my meds where I've like reached a certain point where I don't need to go higher. I don't need to go lower. I found that like Goldilocks point where it's like not too hard, not too soft, just right. I think I'm just right. However, I still have been in really bad depression funks, but I don't want the solution to be increase your meds. You know, that plays a toll on your body and your mental health too, because you're like, oh great, another day where I'm in pain, or oh great, another day where I can take 20 plus pills, because I'm on a huge regimen of meds and vitamins for all these deficiencies and things that I have. And it's just like, you find maybe people with chronic disease and autoimmune disorders can relate, but there's days where I just don't want to take my meds. I'm like, do I really have to swallow another pill? Because I don't want to. And that plays a role on your mental health. And, you know, just seeing people being sick and passing away, and I'm somebody who I like routines, but I like the routines that I can control. So I'm a control freak. So when I can't control my controllables, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And, you know, living through a global pandemic is one thing that definitely affects it. I just really wanted to make this video to just share how I have felt, not just this last year, but for many years, and how I have suffered. I say I have suffered silently because I really have kept it close. What do they say? Like close to my heart or close knit? I don't know what the saying is, but I really close to the cuff. I don't know. Somebody let me know what I'm trying to say. But I really kept it like quiet because I don't want to be like, yeah, I have depression. I don't want that. I also don't want people to be like, oh, I'm sorry. Anything I can do? Depressed people know that there ain't nothing you can do, but thank you for offering. Can anybody else relate to that? Or people like, is there anything I can do? Sometimes I just need somebody to talk to. Or sometimes I just need somebody to check in and be like, you alive? Yeah? Cool. Like, sometimes I just need that. Like, my sister will be like, hey, you alive? Because I haven't heard from you. Yeah, I'm alive. Really depressed. She knows that sometimes I just need to be left alone, and sometimes I just need somebody to vent to. It all depends. And you know, there's much off worse people than I am. You know, there's people who are suicidal. There's people who have committed suicide. I have known several people who have committed suicide, unfortunately. And that is a point that I personally would never get to. Well, knock on wood, who knows, maybe I would. But it's nothing I have ever felt or said like I'm going to do that. But there's been plenty of people who have, and I feel bad for them because I don't know if they don't have somebody to talk to or what the situation was. And sometimes some people do have all the support and they just still feel like they can't handle it anymore. And I just think that the more we talk about mental health and the more we talk about issues, I think the less stigmatized it is and the less people will feel like they are alone. And I think that that's what we need to do as a human race, is to talk about our issues and to talk about how we're feeling, even though I'm sitting here telling you I'm not somebody who wants to talk about feelings, but I'm talking about feelings and I'm sharing more than I would ever share. And this is not me, but I just feel like I feel like right now how I'm talking would be like if I was talking to one of my friends, and this would be like a conversation I would have with them. Super normal. And I don't know, is this normal, talking about depression? Well, it would be normal to talk to my friends about it because they understand. But I just wanted to let you guys know that if there's a break in my filming, it could be for a couple different things. It could be because I'm sick. It could be because I'm too busy with work and doing shows in my business. It could be because of a holiday. It could just flat out be because I have depression and don't feel like doing anything. Or it could just be because I was a lazy ass and didn't film them for that week. Who knows? But it's never on purpose. But sometimes it is really hard to sit here and film. And I never ever thought I would say that or understand why people feel like that. But I can honestly say, like, there is a burnout, and I understand why people get burnout of being a mom or being a dad or working, 80 hours a week or running their own business. There's a reason why people burn out and burn the candle at both ends, because your body and your mind and your soul and your emotions can only take so much. And then I think we all have a breaking point. And some people have a higher threshold for that breaking point and some do not. And then some might take it, and then finally just lose their shit, which has happened to me, guilty as charged. And then you spiral, and then you're in a depressive state for 6 months. But shit happens, so that's the truth. But I really hope that if you're watching this and you've made it this far in the video, that this is a topic that you can relate to, or even that you relate to in the sense that maybe it doesn't affect you, but maybe it affects your mom or your dad or your uncle or your best friend or your niece or nephew. Maybe it affects somebody in your life and you want to know more about it, or like how people actually feel that are depressed. It doesn't hurt to ask somebody who is depressed or has anxiety how they're feeling. It doesn't hurt just to send a text, or most people don't call these days, but if you want to pick up the phone, or even a handwritten card in the mail, like a thinking of you. Like, I get a card, I'm ecstatic because I'm like, this is so cool. It's not a bill. I love it. So I need to get back to creating, because I did have my first craft show and it gave me like the bug to do the craft shows and to get back to creating. I haven't made anything yet, but I've thought about it, which is more than what I was like a month ago. And I've been inquiring about booking more craft shows, which again is more than I thought about a month ago. And I kind of got like re-energized about it and want to do more shows again. And maybe that's just the push that I needed to kind of get out of the funk and to move forward. And every day is a new day. I'm grateful every day that I have on this earth. How that day is going to go, I don't know. But I am a strong person. I am an independent person. I am a creative, and I'm an analytical person. But sometimes I just have my times where I spiral, and sometimes I don't know how to get out of the funks. But the good part is I always do. And that's the best part for me, is once I get out of those, I can see the light. And I've seen the dark, but I always make my way out one way or another. It just depends on how long it's taking. I just appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, to hear my thoughts, even though it's a little scattered and all over the place. That's just how I work. I hope this opened up some thought for you. Like I said, if you can relate or want to leave a comment or talk about your journey or your struggles or what you've overcome, leave me a comment, send me a private message on Facebook or Instagram. Everything's linked down below. You don't have to post it if you don't want to, but I do think the more we talk about it, the more it's going to help people. And I think this video will be something I'll look back on and realize it's helping me get through everything. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you being a subscriber. And thank you for supporting me and Wonderland Boutique. And I will see you again, hopefully next week. Bye-bye. It's been turning kind of gray in Southern California.